Welcome everyone, welcome back to another anime review. This is going to be on Rewrite's 23rd episode or 10th episode, depending on how you're structuring, the second season of Rewrite. Now, this is here, we're at it. We're at the near the very end of Rewrite. I think a couple minutes or a couple hours on the visual novel ending to be precise. I think a couple minutes though. I don't believe the ending is that long in the visual novel after the whole fight scene with Hisaka. And so let's go and delve straight into what happened in this episode. Now, there's not a whole lot to say about this episode aside the fact that we do get to see both Gaia and Guardian preparing to go and wage all-out war in order to find Kaguri, who is the key. Now, Kotaro is basically, as before, he's playing both sides. He has the leader of Suzuki's group of Martel, a part of Gaia, found. He essentially kills him himself with a bullet wound as he's about to reveal Kotaro's secret that he was playing as a double agent, even though Guardian has no knowledge of him playing double agent because he's playing double agent in order to create fond memories for Kagari, and it's essentially trying to destroy both the organizations as a whole with his little centerpiece of the final hope for humanity. Now, there is a scene I wanted to talk about is that humanity is talking about that they found a new planet that's very Earth-like, that has water, it has the same atmosphere, it's like 15 to 20 light years away, and that it is a very, very high chance of it being a hospitable planet to humans if they ever decide to go and migrate towards that planet, if it's possible. But as Kotaro says, when Kogari finds this information, as he has put it in his room, because after the song of destruction is being rehearsed and played, she starts to, lose herself, lose one of her words, and everything else that she has gained because she's becoming part of the Earth once again. So she's relegating back into, having no information about humans and all of that jazz, because he's always being reincarnated. There's always a cycle of the key being instated in previous cycles, and so it was very, very interesting to see. I think for everyone else, seeing that there was a slight glimmer of hope that humanity could survive if it had enough time to go towards a new planet because of how it's polluting it and all. And essentially, people are trying to say that it's supposed to be environmentally friendly. This anime has an environmental message to it, I guess. I mean, I'm pretty sure the whole thing about it is Kotaro's nature and his journey towards trying to save the planet. And that this world, the world of Rewrite, is very different from ours, and is that there is a life source called Aurora that is sustaining life on the planet, and probably and on this planet Earth. I'm not even sure if they elaborate that if there are other habitable planets in the universe. Will they have the same system as Kagari? Probably not, because they need to have something interesting for high stakes, I guess, for Earth too. But then he goes into the matter of the metaverse, that is the moon thing. And let's not delve into that. I think that would be a better discussion for other Rewrite fans and other people who want to have that discussion another time. That this episode is the culmination of everything Kotaro is trying to work towards, which is ending the conflict between Gaia and Guardian. Now, the last moments of this episode were very intense indeed. In some instances of the beginning as well, it had that build up of Kotaro killing one of the guys who was with Ooni or Mikuni, I believe, the blonde guy from who got murdered, who got absolutely wrecked by that T-Rex thing. And he basically could see the key. Now, there are other people who can see the key in Guardian, but as right now, Kotaro goes and assassinate the guy, and it was pretty funny, saying as how he was really annoyed with Mikuni's team. So this is kind of a double payback, so to speak. Even he's like, he needs to get rid of him because he could see the key, and that he was kind of annoying. Even just his couple seconds of him hanging with Mikuni and his arrogant self, it's like, yeah, just murder him, just shank him. I was like, oh god, this is getting pretty good. And so we also get the fight scene that everyone has loved from the visual novel in this episode. It was a very, very short fight scene. There isn't much you can do. There are people, I'm not going to look up at any forums if they're going to be visual novel fans who are going to be complaining about the fight scene. It was a couple minutes or a couple seconds or like a minute. I think it was like a minute. And the great beauty about the visual novel fight scene was that it was entirely narrated by Kotaro's thoughts. So if this was a book, if they adapted the visual novel into a light novel with tons of text, that would be a really long ass light novel and have the entire fight scene. I'm pretty sure it would probably be around the same length or even a bit shorter, because how you have to hear the sound of the voice acting, the sound, the music, and on a piece of paper it's just a bunch of words. And there isn't much you can animate. From what I can tell, the movements that Kotaro does is extremely is explained in great detail in the visual novel, and here it takes less than a second to it takes barely a couple minutes to execute the set of actions. Like if I was going to reach my arm out, there'll be a couple of texts of lines saying I'm reaching my arm out right now, then I do it. And in the anime, it's like he's thinking about it, and your body acts on the same length as it. So as your body, once it gets used to doing certain things, once you like think about it, it does it automatically because that's what it's going to assume you're going to do, and that's usually what you want it to do. So it's kind of like you have to do the thing between a visual aspect and a book aspect, or like a novel aspect, which is like you're thinking of doing something, you do it nearly instantaneously. It's not that, wow, you're such a fast thinker. It's more like your body's used to doing it, and that it's correlating with similar movements, so it makes it much more easier to do. It's like if you think like you're moving your arm without thinking, you're still thinking. It's just that you're not thinking with it's hard to explain, but what I'm trying to say is I like the fight scene. The fight scene, even though it was a bit weird looking, especially with how the ground and the surrounding scenery was very static when Asaka and Kotaro were moving through when they did the little far shots. But I think when they did the close-up shots of the fight, it was really well animated, I have to say. Though of course it's 8-bit, so they're working on a tight schedule. And whose great idea was to give 8-bit a very tight schedule on how to do rewrite? It's just like these marketing advisors or like 40-year-old men who have no clue on how to do stuff. And then yeah, it's just, if you're gonna complain about 8-bit, complain to the guy, to the production company, and like the deadlines that they're given. Because if I'm pretty sure if they had a longer deadline and with more episodes to work with, I'm pretty sure the anime would have been a lot more better than it is. But I'm still enjoying the second season for what it is. And the fight scene was intense. The final fight scene indeed was, very intense. Not as intense as in the visual novel because of course you got the words and all, but it was still intense inside that you could see the actions, the movements, the impacts, and I really like the aspect of them including the different choices. And I'm just cycling through the choices very, very fast because in the visual novel, you're given a ton of choices, but there's only one choice available because, as I said before, the theory is working through Kotaro and influencing his actions. But there's a little snippet with a possible bad ending you get during the Terror route that I won't spoil if you guys are still planning on playing the visual novel to experience what 8-bit left out. Then it's possibly a plot hole or a thing that maybe Kotaro broke free from the theory, kind of. But then that goes into the world doesn't have enough chances to go and recreate the timeline. Then it goes into how did the events of Terra properly happen? If there's an option, if there's a route where he takes a bad ending, we have no idea. Probably another plot hole. But all in all, I really enjoyed this episode. It was very clear and coherent on where they were going with the direction in this episode. It was going for the big finale. Now, next episode is going to be the final episode. So I'm pretty sure the second season was only stated for 11 episodes. You can clearly show and see that they were clearly rushing through certain parts. Like there were certain parts that just had like a second or two with like a single word of dialogue. But then it still got its point across. You don't have to go and overly explain some things. But a lot of you might be like, what just happened? But all in all, I really did enjoy this episode. What are your thoughts on it overall? About the video or the review? About the anime, about the episode or the review? Leave a comment down below. You want to talk about the anime or clarify some things I might have missed out or might have gotten wrong. Share the video, like it, leave a like or dislike if that's how you want to roll. Subscribe if you haven't already for more reviews. If you are and you haven't, tick the little bell button to get notifications every time I upload a video. I also have a Patreon account that you can, donate to if you want, but it's not mandatory at all. It's just an option there for people who want to, not hang out, but support the channel. I also have a Twitter account where you can actually hang out with me on there. It's my main Twitter account and the channel's main Twitter account. So it's like both and both. So you can like talk with me on there, just tweet some funny stuff to me. All in all, I'll be seeing you on the next review or video. Raiyamo. Have all a nice day. See you later.